This nurse says that treating COVID patients is like the horror movie that never ends. It's worth listening to her voice, or at least my reading her voice. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I retweeted this, I think, fairly early on. This was, as I recall, maybe Saturday afternoon. It's from a nurse, Jody Daring. D-O-E-R-I-N-G, J-O-D-I-D-O-E-R-I-N-G is her Twitter handle. And it was just so poignant. I read this and it was like, whoa, it just hit my heart. She tweets, it's a little tweet thread. She tweets, I have a night off from the hospital. As I'm on my couch with my dog, I can't help but think of the COVID patients the last few days. The ones who stick out are those who still don't believe the virus is real. The ones who scream at you for a magic medicine and that Joe Biden is going to ruin the USA, all while gasping for breath on 100% Vapotherm. They'll tell you there must be another reason they're sick. They'll call you names and ask you why you have to wear all that stuff because they don't have COVID, because it's not real. Yes, this really happens. And I can't stop thinking about it. These people really think this isn't going to happen to them. And then they stop yelling at you when they get intubated. It's like an effing horror movie that never ends. There's no credits that roll. You can't just go back and do it all over again. Which is what I will do for the next 3 nights. But tonight it's me and Cliff and Oreo ice cream, and how ironic I have on my home hoodie. The South Dakota I love seems far away right now. Writes Jody Daring on Twitter. It's absolutely brilliant. And can you imagine trying to save the lives of people who are actively telling you that you are lying to them that they have COVID? It's breathtaking. But this is actually happening right now in hospitals all across the country. I know 2 of my kids work in the hospitals here in Portland. We are approaching maxed out. The governor just shut down the state. The order goes into effect, I believe, on Wednesday of this week. Closing bars, closing restaurants, fines. They're getting serious because we've gone from 100 cases a day statewide. 100 cases a day to 200 a day to 300 a day to 500 a day. And just in the last couple of weeks, because I get the email every day from the state of Oregon, from the Department of Public Health. And just in the last couple of weeks, it went from 500 to 600, 600 to 750, 750 to 900. And then we've hit 1,000 cases a day over the last few days. Here in Multnomah County, the city of Portland, we're up in the neighborhood of 150 to 250 new cases every day. And of course, deaths are starting to increase. The deaths are the lagging indicator. I'm wondering if COVID is starting to affect you. One of my kids called me yesterday, he's a public health official, and which is a tough job to have right now, and called and said that one of his former employees, the older brother of one of his employees, just died from COVID. And, was in the hospital, gasping for breath. I believe he stroked out. I don't have all the details. And died. It's getting closer and closer, right? It's getting closer and closer to all of us. This thing is blowing up. And I think pretty soon, we've got 10 million people in the United States who are now carrying this virus, or who have now been diagnosed with the virus. And 250,000 dead, roughly. And pretty soon there's going to be, pretty much everybody is going to know somebody, and then it's going to start getting real. Meanwhile, the Star Tribune, the Minneapolis newspaper, is reporting that Republicans in the Minnesota State Senate discovered that several of their colleagues and staffers were testing positive for COVID-19. And they had just had this, kind of meeting or session or whatever it was, where Democrats and Republicans were there together. So the Democrats were exposed to these COVID-positive Republicans, as were the Republicans. So did the Republicans let everybody know? No, they only told the GOP folks. The governor, Tim Walz, says, I don't understand why Senate Republicans chose to share positive cases only with members of their own party, putting staff and other senators at risk. He says, at the end of the day, we're all Minnesotans. No, those Republicans don't think of themselves as Minnesotans. They really don't. They don't think of themselves as Michiganders or Oregonians or anything else. They think of themselves as basically the last gasp of the Confederacy. The Confederacy has has essentially taken over the Republican Party and is alive and well right now in these right-wing groups, these neo-Confederate, neo-Nazi groups. And frankly, I think we should be calling them that, neo-Confederates. And see, everybody calls them neo-Nazis already. It's just terrible. Sweden, by the way, just issued lockdown orders. Sweden.